Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast, where we jam about money, clutter, and food, and the real stuff under this stuff. Join me, Lisa Carpenter, your resident food coach, along with my co-hosts, money coach Jen Turrell and clutter coach Lisa Sharp, as we help you release what's weighing you down and heal your relationship with food, money, and clutter from the inside out. Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Lisa. I almost said Lisa Sharp. I am Lisa Carpenter. Our resident.
It's like when I talk to my kids. Oh no, wait.
Wow, wait. Who am I? So we're off to a roaring start, and I'm not going to edit this because that's how we roll. I'm Lisa Carpenter, your resident food coach, here with my co-host, Lisa Sharp, space healer and clutter coach, and Jen Turrell, who is our resident money coach and helping us with all things financial. And today we wanted to kind of dive into this topic around what healthy eating means to different people, and fads in particular, because we see these kind of food fads all the time, right? So, and I'm not saying that people don't have problems with gluten and, dairy and wheat and, there are people that are really suffering with, digestion problems, with celiac, with IBS. There's a lot of serious things going on out there for people. But often we pick up some of these things and then we start to run with it. So something that I talk to my clients about, because people come to me and say, well, can you help me if I have, celiac? Can you help me if I have IBS? And what I find a lot of clients are getting caught in is what they believe they have to be eating because they're suffering from those things. And they still end up eating a bunch of garbage food that's really not making them healthier. So take this for what it's worth, but I personally believe that when you are struggling with digestive issues, that's a real gift for you. It is a true gift because it puts some boundaries around what you can and can't eat that's actually going to make you one of the healthiest human beings on the planet, providing you stay away from a bunch of products that are labeled as gluten-free. That doesn't mean they're good for you, right? Like, I think there's a sign out there that, cocaine and broken glass are gluten-free too. Would you eat them? Right? It's true, they are. You wouldn't eat them. And sometimes what people think is healthy and what actually is healthy is not the best choice. So we're constantly being bombarded with these messages. I mean, I remember when low carb was we were in the low carb phase, and you could buy low carb everything that would make your stomach expand out like you were 9 months pregnant.
Low carb donuts.
nobody wanted to be around you. It was still garbage food, but you could eat it because it was low carb or no carb, but the carbs didn't count. Then we had the low fat diets where people were like, okay, we can't eat fat. Fat is bad for us. So we started eating a bunch of non-fat dairy that was loaded with sugar, right? Because they've added more sugar in now to account for the fact that there's no fat in the product and it tastes horrible. So we're constantly chasing these fads as a way to find the fix for what ails us. And for most of us, we're looking at weight, right? Or we're bloated or whatever is going on for us, instead of settling into, how about eating some real food? Bless you.
Thank you. That was the implosion sneeze.
Ouch. Try and keep it quiet.
I didn't want to sneeze into your talking.
This episode is all things awesome.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Shall I get my ukulele?
I know. We tend to just keep chasing these things, looking for the fix. And there is no fix. Like, eating healthy is pretty simple, right? Like, this is what I tell all my clients. If it comes from the earth, if it swims in the ocean, if it grows off a tree or a bush, right? If it grows in the earth, you can eat it. If it comes from Betty Crocker, the list of ingredients is longer than your arm, ties your tongue into a knot trying to pronounce it. Regardless of how many health check symbols, gluten-free, sugar-free, fat-free, eat me labels are on it, don't consume it. Don't consume it. Stop trying to make nutrition complicated. So I would love to hear both of your experiences. I love how you can do that with your eyebrow, Lisa Sharp. For those of you listening on iTunes, she has this amazing ability to like raise one eyebrow. I can't do that.
I so can't do that either. Right. You've got the quizzical eyebrow. Can I go first?
Amazing. Yes, please.
Okay. So when I was just out of college in the 90s, the late 90s, and doing indie music, there were a lot of kids who were vegan or vegetarian or straight edge or hardcore. You know, they had all these things, and we would go on tour, so I would get to see what they ate all the time. And there were vegetarians who would halfway live on corn nuts or French fries. You know, we'd be traveling, so we'd have to stop at places where people could eat, and they would eat French fries. Or, you know, instead of getting like a burger with no bun that I see people do now, it was just like all junk food. Of course, when you're traveling, it's a little harder because you don't have a kitchen and you're not making your own food. But it was really interesting to watch people who are like vegetarian for either moralistic reasons, a lot of them, or, you know, protesting something, or maybe just trying to piss their parents off. I don't know. But I watched some of the least healthy vegetarians in the world on tour, and it always kind of fascinated me to be like, oh, okay, so we removed the meat, but there's still a whole lot of, you know, when you fry things, there are potential animal products in there still, and still wear shoes. And I mean, not to make fun of any vegetarians at all, but I felt like I saw some very poor eating patterns, worse than mine as a non-vegetarian, because of them restricting themselves. Yeah. So I wanted to just jump in there and say that I've seen people be extremely unhealthy. And with my daughter having lots of allergies, it's true there are times when we try to buy things at the store that look kind of like what other kids can have at school. You know, like we buy gluten-free pretzels for her, or we'll try to find gluten-free cookie recipes or something so she can have some of those things that other kids have. And they're not healthy, I realize that. The things that are best for her are, you know, apples, carrots, she can have vegetables, she can have meat. She's not much of a meat eater. But yeah, most of the products that have the gluten-free label on them have the label because they are processed and complex and have a lot of ingredients and have to tell us whether or not they have something like that in it. So,
it's amazing how many, and again, this is not knocking vegetarians. I don't work with as many vegetarians as I do, you know, true source protein eaters, so I'm not knocking them. But it's amazing to me how many vegetarians I've actually worked with that don't eat a lot of vegetables.
I was about to say that.
They don't eat a lot of vegetables. And they're eating a lot of
vegetables, right?
Exactly. And yam fries are healthy for you. Yam fries are healthier for you. They're not, people. Like a potato chip was healthy for you before it became potato chip. But and a lot of fake processed food, right? So tofu meat or whatever it is. So I get that nowadays we have the ability to create these foods to expand our palate, but my belief is if you're making the decision to be a vegetarian, you have to really be diligent about the food you're eating because it's your body. It's your health that is at stake. You still have to create the balance of everything your body needs so that you're getting in enough protein, you're getting in enough carbs, you're getting in enough fats. And quite often what I see with vegetarians as well is they're really, really overeating their complex carbohydrates. So they end up really struggling with their weight because although they're eating healthier, they're overeating. They don't understand the portion sizes. So it's this balance of, well, I don't want to eat meat, but I want to lose weight. So how do I bring this all together? So there are lots of different, you know, protein sources that people can use that aren't, you know, meat-based. And nowadays, I mean, I've got some clients that, well, they'll eat eggs and they'll eat fish, but they won't eat chicken or they won't eat beef or they won't eat, everybody's got their own thing. Or somebody will eat dairy. They won't eat anything else. So it's really finding what works for you. But I challenge anybody who's listening to really look at what you're putting in your mouth on a daily basis that you believe to be healthy and start writing it out and get honest with yourself because we can really make up these stories like, oh, I'm eating so healthy. And when you actually look at the labels and you look at the ingredients and you look at, okay, how much of this food actually came from the earth, came from the ground, didn't come processed. Am I really eating that healthy, right? Because we've got brown rice pasta now. Great. But there's no fields of pasta. We've got breads that are filled with like grains and seeds that are super healthy. But they didn't come out of the earth that way. So we have to get a lot more savvy about the types of foods we're choosing for ourselves. There's room for all of these. Like, thank goodness, you know, you can get gluten-free pretzels to kind of, you know, have that little indulgence for your daughter. But overall, you need to look at the bigger picture of what you're bringing into your house and what you're putting into your body, because it does impact your health. Lisa?
This is a really timely conversation, I have to say. So I discovered that I was allergic to wheat and many forms of gluten when I was 18. I'm 45 now. Do that math. I don't know what that number is. It's a big number. So I've been doing this for a really long time. And so when I was first diagnosed with these food allergies, I cried buckets over not being able to eat bread and pretzels. Oh God, do I love pretzels. And, you know, just a whole myriad of things. And also just being like the odd person out, because over 20 years ago, more than, 27 years ago, this was not a conversation. People didn't know. And when I would talk about my food allergies, people would just sort of give me the stink eye about it. It was like, well, what are you talking about? So, you know, you fast forward to today where, you know, gluten-free is sort of like it's, you know, really trendy, and people, you know, they'll slap those labels on pretty much anything. It's like, well, duh, this doesn't have gluten. It's a hard-boiled egg, but, you know, we're going to sell it because we know that this is a trigger for people, and that people will think that they're going to lose weight or, you know, whatever, you know. So I rarely eat, what you're talking about, like the Franken foods, and there are healthy Franken foods, right? So, you know, like the tofu meat product things, the gluten-free bread, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's all made, like, come up with the ideas, come out of labs, right? These are not like, you're not like in your kitchen with your whole bank full of chemicals, like, oh, I think I'll add a little of this and add a little, you know, like, oh, this needs to be, the color needs to change. That doesn't happen, you know? So
let's make tofurkey from scratch.
Right, exactly. It just doesn't happen. And, but occasionally I do buy, like gluten-free bread, you know, like, and I usually keep a bag of it in my freezer, and I'll eat a sandwich every couple of months. So, so yesterday, this is why it's so timely, I think I just was doing a lot of, I had just worked like a crazy amount of hours last week and was really tired and dragging. And so I treated myself with some food, right? So I decided to have some gluten-free rolls. It's like styrofoam. Like, I'm not eating this because it's delicious. It's because it's a vehicle for butter and honey, truth be told.
Yes.
But I ate it. So, and then I totally forgot about it. I hadn't food logged. I hadn't planned things out. I was just sort of flying by the seat of my pants, way too tired, way too tired than I normally am. So like last night I'm laying in bed, I'm like, my stomach's like, like making all of this ruckus. And I was like, what is going on? And after about 10 minutes of sort of ignoring it, I was like, oh, wait a minute, what did I eat today? And, you know, because I've been dealing with my food allergies for so long, it's just automatic. I can call up exactly what I've eaten and how it was prepared and all that kind of stuff, because I had to cook everything from scratch, basically, and have for decades. So I was like, it might have been those 3 rolls. Because my body, even though it's not gluten-free, it's a Franken food. It's not real food. It's something that somebody created so that we could have bread that is gluten-free, which is great. And I really appreciate, and it's fun to eat those occasionally. But if you eat 3 of those and you don't normally eat them, your stomach's like, why did you do this to me? So, and I kept thinking of Lisa as I was laying in bed holding my gurgling stomach. I was like, yeah, this did not come from the earth. This didn't even come from a kitchen. This came from a lab. And this is why my body is rejecting it. And it really was flat out rejecting it. And my husband he's become a vegetarian over the last, year and a half or so. And he and I are both very dedicated to eating whole foods and to not eating Franken foods if we can help it. We're not perfect by any stretch, but that's kind of been our ethos in the 15 years that we've been together. So when he became a vegetarian, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be really interesting, because being a vegetarian takes a lot of work. You have to really, you can't just,
throw a chicken breast in a skillet and cook it and be done with it. You just need to be more diligent about what you're eating than if you aren't a vegetarian or vegan. So sometimes he's vegan, sometimes vegetarian, kind of goes back and forth depending on what his body is needing. So anyway, so he doesn't eat those like Franken meats, like the, made up bacon and all that kind of stuff, which tastes really good and are a protein source, but aren't particularly healthy because your body isn't recognizing, it's recognizing that this is like calories and, but it's not recognizing that this is like of nutritional value, right? So he has not done that. He has not gone that route, mostly because he just really enjoys a challenge. He's that kind of a guy. But he and I were talking over the weekend about our meal plan for this upcoming month because yes, we do meal plan usually about a month in advance. And he's like, I am not eating nearly enough vegetables. I am really just carbing it up over here. And it's not even like really good quality carbs. Like, yeah, I'm eating, like all the beans are from scratch and everything's organic and la, 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 la. But if you're not eating fresh greens and stuff, you start feeling it, because you're just sort of like, you feel kind of dull. And, it's just because you've been focusing on this one food group. So all of this is to say is that I think these things can be done with moderation. I don't think it has to be an either or 100% of the time, but just being aware of like, how is your body actually going to interpret this thing that you just put into your body? And is it, and paying attention to like what happens to your body 4 hours later or 12 hours later or 24 hours later? How are you feeling in your body? Right. And, when I first had this diagnosis with these allergies all those years ago, it really felt like I was going to be missing out. But, it's been one of my greatest gifts because it made me at a very young age when I was learning how to cook for myself and do all this stuff. I had to learn it from the bottom up. So I have a really solid foundation and I'm keenly aware of when my body is like, nope, don't do that. And I think a lot of people don't have that. You can cultivate that for sure. Yeah. But something that was a real problem has turned out to be a real gift.
You don't have to like something to accept it. And when you lean into accepting it, that's where you'll find your freedom. And white gluten-free buns are never they're never going to do good inside your body.
They had seeds in them, Lisa. They were healthy. They were wholesome. It actually said wholesome.
Wholesome. That's right. Wholesome. It's kind of like the fads on the labels, like people enriched bread, right? They have to put enriched bread on the bread because they've stripped everything out and by law they've had to add it back in. So they've learned how to make it a marketing tactic. We are so sold to, and this is one of the things that I really hammer home inside the EAT program is you have to really start to pay attention, like what you were just saying, Lisa, about how your body feels when food goes into it. Does it make me feel good? Does it not make me feel good? And you start to really listen, right? So why would you eat something that doesn't make you feel good? It's really easy for me to not eat certain foods because they really make me feel like crap. And second, you've really got to take responsibility for the foods you're buying. So, the saying kind of is shop the outside of the grocery store. There are valid things down the aisles, but read the labels, really get past the marketing schemes and really see what's in your food and make a educated choice for yourself. And to stop playing the game that you think you're eating healthy when really you're not eating that healthy. And I'm glad your husband is going to eat more vegetables.
God bless.
And
he ate, beet sandwiches, whatever.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've done mushroom or eggplant sandwiches, but never beet.
It's a thing.
You can, if you really love bread, because I truthfully believe, as Lisa does, that bread really is just the transportation device for the things that we want to put on the bread.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the transportation device for butter. I used to love white bread and butter. I will not touch white bread. It makes me crazy. So I don't eat it.
Wait. How does it make you crazy?
It literally makes I feel like I have PMS. So the next day I am moody, I'm irritable, I'm just not a great person to be around. It literally throws off my hormones. And there's certain foods that just do that to me, so I don't eat them because I don't like feeling off center. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry. We all have a lot to say on this topic, clearly. I don't mean to derail you here, Lisa, because I want to hear what you have to say. But I'm really curious because I think for people who just are used to feeling bad, don't even understand how much better they could feel because they've always felt the way that they feel. I mean, it's like telling somebody that the sky is blue if you don't see the color blue. It doesn't matter, you know? So it's like when we start taking those steps into eating better, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that ache and pain, that was related to the bread I was eating, or, I'm drinking one green smoothie a day, and like all of a sudden my energy level is a little bit different in the morning, and I don't want to, reach for the donut at work or whatever it is. But my question to you, and I'd like to hear this from Jen too, I want to hear more about the specifics, like how does your body feel when you eat X, Y, and Z? Just like a handful of examples. For one, the white bread. What else, if you eat something, makes you feel bad? And what are the ways that you feel bad? Because I think that might be helpful to actually illustrate, because people are just sort of used to feeling the way that they feel.
It's an easy and a hard question to answer. Yes. When people come into my program, that's one of the things they notice as they start changing their eating. They realize, wow, I didn't realize I was feeling so poorly. Mm-hmm. And when I say food impacts your emotions and your feelings, like they don't fully understand that. But I think all of us as women at some point in time have had like raging PMS, where it's like we're not suitable for human consumption. Like, don't even look at me. Like, don't even look at me. I have nothing nice to say. I can't even talk to you. And that's how certain foods will impact me. So pretty much anything bready, I don't eat. I used to love like Boston cream donuts. Will not touch them. Like, will not. I maybe would eat the
Boston cream donuts.
Pasta, I will never touch. Yeah. Pasta, I won't touch, cause again, it makes me squirrely. I don't eat any type of chips anymore. So I used to love Doritos. Don't eat Doritos anymore. I used to love salt and vinegar chips. I don't eat any of that stuff anymore because it not just affected me emotionally, it affected my body reacted to it really quickly as well. Like I would look really bloaty. Yeah. I would feel puffy. So I'd feel heavy. Then that would start the emotional cycle of getting down on myself. Like, so there's a lot of reasons why I don't eat those foods. So it's, the best thing I can say to people is, learn the basics from the bottom up. And as you start cleaning up the foods you're eating, so it's not like I can never have a Boston cream donut. Like if I decided I wanted to have one, I could have one. But it's really weighing out, like, is this worth how I'm going to feel tomorrow? Right? Mm-hmm. Is it really worth it? And I've just made those very conscious choices for myself. But, like I'll eat a bag of sour keys.
I don't know what sour keys are.
Oh, they're like candy. They're super sour. Like I'm getting all like
puckery and
juicy. I'm salivating right now as I talk
from the citric acid that they dump in there.
Yes, right? Chemical.
I love those things. I swear. That's how I got through my pregnancy with my son. I just ate sour disgustingness.
Yeah. So it's, one of the things, obviously I love a lot of things about my program, but one of the things that I truly love about it is once you kind of learn all the layers and you start feeling better, that's when people can move into, okay, well, what do I need to, what can I eliminate now? So a lot of doctors or naturopaths will say, okay, you got to eliminate all this stuff, which then leaves people going, I have no idea what to eat.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas inside my program, you learn all the different layers, and then to do an elimination is not a big deal because you still have all these other foods you can eat. Like it's so not an issue. And most of the women who come through my program, there's still stuff they have to explore. They're still having, bloating issues or gas issues. But now they're so much more in tune with their body and what's working for them and what isn't working for them. It makes finding those answers a heck of a lot easier. So, eliminate, if you're wondering how much food is impacting you, pick one thing and take it out for 2 weeks. So maybe eliminate all bread for 2 weeks. Not because it's the fad thing to do, but because you genuinely want to see, is this impacting me? How are my emotions going to be if I take this out? Will I feel less bloated? Will I feel less like I want to kill my husband and my kids? Right. Do it as an experiment. Lead with curiosity as opposed to saying, well, I heard that bread is not good for you, so I'm not going to eat it.
Right.
Right?
P.S. Just real quick. Bread is the same thing as tortillas, is the same thing as crackers, is the same thing. So people will be like, I'm eating gluten-free bread, and then they're eating pretzels. I'm eating gluten-free whatever. So you're just sort of trading things out, but they are the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Right?
So
and
if you're going to do that, take it all out.
Yes, all of it. There's so many different diets out there, right? We got paleo, and then I have women coming to me because they can't understand why they're not losing weight and they're on paleo. Well, you can't just eat as much fat as you want and think your body's going to lose weight. And it's not because fat is bad, but there does still come this thing called portion control and understanding the foods that are going to work best for your body. Not everything works for everybody, but you have to start with understanding the basics first, right? And getting in touch with you instead of, like I said, just following the next thing, because there will be a next thing, because marketers are always looking for the next thing. Always.
Speaking of which, as you were talking about how bread affects you, I was like, oh yeah, I bought that book on Audible called The Brain Fog Fix, and I never finished it. I just clicked on it and it's downloading right now because I was like, I'm pretty sure a lot of that was about wheat.
Yep.
And getting wheat out of your diet, which again, these are why we have the fads, because people are selling books and selling programs and selling things.
Yeah.
But then I was curious because I did at one point, Stu and I, we were trying to do one of the many fad diets we've tried, which was the fast metabolism diet. Are you aware of that one, Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
But it was too hard. It was too strict. It was no sugar, no alcohol, no wheat, no dairy, it was no. And you're supposed to do it for just 28 days to reset your metabolism, and then your body was supposed to be able to handle things again. But at the end of the program, she does say, well, now that you've tried out eating this way without all these things, don't you feel better, and don't you want to keep not eating wheat and dairy? And soy was in there too, and corn. So that made it really hard, because it was like, we live in the Southwest, there's no Mexican food anymore except for like a taco salad with no corn chips or anything like that, because we are pretty used to at least doing, if not bread, then tortillas or corn tortillas or something. But I think we managed it. We got through 12 days pretty successfully, and then kind of went from there. Yeah. But I did notice, we did talk about how different we felt not eating bread, and then we both lost a lot of weight pretty quickly, because Stu didn't even have beer, which at the time he used to drink beer. He doesn't drink it anymore because we found out he has a yeast allergy. Mm-hmm. Interesting. But when we put bread back in, we both blew up. We both gained a bunch of weight after not having it. So that was kind of an interesting, kickback to that fad diet.
He has a yeast allergy.
I know. Yeast
bread.
I know.
Bread is made with yeast, right?
I know. I know
this? Okay.
I know. But that was when he gave up beer, was with the yeast allergy, because he was trying to already not eat bread. Like I said, if the bread is in the house, he'll eat pieces of it. He does not usually bring the bread into the house. It often is me.
Yeah. And just so we're clear, I actually eat wheat. I'm not anti-wheat.
That's what I was asking when you said you feel PMS-y. So it's not wheat, it's the white bread.
Whatever it is, I don't know. It just does not agree with me. And there's better quality breads. I can have a piece of swirly bread and it doesn't really impact me. But so swirly bread is filled with grains and seeds and blah, blah, blah. But my portion size is one piece. Wah. I don't want one piece of bread. I like volume, so I would rather choose foods that I get to eat more of. So sometimes it does come down to, well, what do I get the most of? I buy this thing from, what's the name of the company? Anyways, the Kamut Puff. So it's like puff wheat, but it's puff Kamut.
Yep.
I get to have 2.5 cups of those suckers.
I like the puff millet too.
And I mix them in with my yogurt. And
okay.
Yeah, I put them on top of my yogurt so I get my crunch. But, my portion size is awesome. Awesome. Right? I'll eat steel cut oatmeal. That's a 1/4 cup serving size for me. And for most of the women that I work with, a 1/4 cup uncooked. So I'm always kind of looking at, I want to feel full too. I don't like feeling hungry. So I'm making choices with foods that are going to help me feel full, because I don't like to be hangry. That's no fun for me either. So, yeah, I'm not an anti-wheat person. I don't think and I'm not anti-dairy either. Do I feel better when I eat a little less dairy? Yeah. I buy organic, non-fat Greek yogurt. I add my own fats to it, my own stuff, mix it all up. I'm I'm not going to give up dairy though, because I like a bowl of yogurt every now and then, and it doesn't bother me enough for me to want to give it up. But there's other people that really can't have dairy. But that's me tuning into my body, knowing what works and what doesn't work. And that's really what I try and empower all the women inside my class to do as well. You guys will, well, Lisa knows that, Jen, you're going to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jen, is there anything that you don't eat because you know that you're just going to feel like...
There are things that I don't eat regularly. Like when she was telling me my Boston cream donut, I was like, oh, I haven't had one of those in a really long time. And
right,
I do
now she'll put a picture of her eating one in the group. Don't do it.
Well, what I thought of is there's this place called Fractured Prune. I don't know if these exist anywhere else. So it's a company, it's a new donut company of some kind. So what they do is they have just one donut that they make, but then they do all these things to it. And it's not somewhere that I go very often because it's true, I do feel pretty crappy afterwards. But they have a version of a Boston cream where they squirt cream into the whole of the donut and then put some chocolate or something on top. And that's kind of amazing. But I know if I'm going to go do that, I'm going to feel like it's the kind of thing where you're like, oh, yes, it's greasy because the donut was fresh. Yep. They fry it right there for you. Like it goes from dough into your plate. Nice. You can watch it go by. Yeah. So it's fresh, it's made immediately, and you can see the whole process. It's not like getting, an old gross thing from the store that sat there with preservatives forever, but it's not good for you.
Yeah. So, and how do you feel when you eat it?
It tastes really nice while I'm eating it, but basically by the time I leave the store, I'm going, I feel kind of greasy. And
party in the mouth.
And then
upset in the belly.
Yeah. And actually greasy food, I'm sure it does this to a lot of people, but it ends up kind of loosening everything a lot in the bowel area, and you're just kind of like,
Yeah,
it's not good. Get tummy aches sometimes. Yeah. And then, Anyways, that's why my daughter, so I have to really quick, since we're talking about how foods make us feel, bring up a new product that has entered our world because of marketing, which is Poo-Pourri and Squatty Potty. Have you seen these commercials?
Yes.
My daughter loved them so much that we haven't gotten a Squatty Potty yet, but that's her favorite with the unicorn. But we did get some Poo-Pourri, which Miffy thought was hilarious, and now she wants everyone to use it every time they go to the bathroom.
Oh, goody.
No matter what.
That's awesome. Well,
on that note,
I will all tie together, though.
They are all tied together. I will end this episode with my one last pet peeve about food.
Okay.
Is it drives me crazy when I see organizations doing fundraising campaigns, whether it be for cancer or, whatever it is they're raising money for. And a lot of the times they're using foods that are actually poisoning us. Like I did a brain cancer run, and at the end of the run, we all got to have a hot dog. And I thought, what the F? Are you kidding me? Like hot dogs are filled with stuff that are proven to cause cancer, right? We have kids selling donuts and assorted things, and it blows my mind, right? So I understand that a lot of these organizations, there's a lot of companies that raise a lot of money for a lot of really great causes, but at some point, like, is anybody else seeing the absurdity of all of this, right? So it's like we're perpetuating our own problems. So that's a whole other soapbox I'll just get off of right now. And I feel like I'm going to sneeze here, so I'm going to mute myself and let you guys wrap this up first.
I think that is a good point. And I remember during some of the pink washing for breast cancer, some of the things they would put pink ribbons on made no sense at all. I was just like, what? Even non-food items, but anyways. It is an interesting tactic.
So for any of you listening on iTunes, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. And really, you should go over and watch the YouTube episode because we're sneezing, we're rolling our eyes. This has been,
you can see my eyebrow.
A great. Sometimes I forget that we record these and people actually watch our shenanigans.
It's kind of funny sometimes when people mention something in the group because we batch record. Like when we announced that we were doing the retreat, and then all of a sudden people were like, "Oh, I want to go to the retreat." We're like, "Oh yeah, we did record that thing." Yeah, okay, great. But if you are watching on YouTube, which you should, because YouTube's fun, subscribe to our channel and please leave us a comment below. It is always so nice to hear from people what they think, and just to know people are watching. That's nice too.
It is.
That's your cue. That's your cue, Lisa.
That's your cue.
Oh yeah. All right. Y'all, you're welcome for the snort. Yeah, come over to our Facebook group where we're very serious. And we're always talking about really boring topics. No, we're not. We're really, just come over.
Lots of fun.
Come over and hang out. So I want to mention really quickly that EAT is open for registration now. I will be teaching live probably in just under a couple weeks when this goes live, so at the beginning of March. So it's a great time to join if you're really interested in learning how you can break away from fads for the rest of your life and give up dieting. I'm also going to be posting an application for our retreat that's going to be coming up in September or October. So by the time this goes live, we will have an application. So you'll find it below in the description somewhere like magic. All right. Until next time, ladies. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Hello, all the stuff viewers and listeners. Lisa Carpenter here, your resident food coach. And today I want to extend a very special invitation to a free 3-part masterclass series that I'm running on how to lose weight and keep it off. And I'm going to be digging into topics such as why willpower never works for creating lasting weight loss and the tools that you're missing to create that lasting change. We're also going to talk about how to curb your cravings and gain control of your emotional eating. I know this is something that plagues so many of you. We're also going to talk about foods that create radical transformation in your body, not just physically, but also emotionally. And we're going to get into all the kind of nitty-gritty proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and how you can kind of put them all together to create your own nutritional blueprint. It's going to be great fun. I'm super excited to be delivering this content, and we kick off on February 14th. So I would love to have you register. You can find the sign-up page at lisacarpenter.ca/masterclass. I've also included the links down below. Again, we start February 14th, and I would love to see you there.